Thank you for being here. I'm going to wait a few minutes so I know that I am alive. That's taking a while. And I think I have internet connections, but I'm going to go with the flow. Hi, Candace. I think it's Wi-Fi connections. Are you able to hear me? Because I am using these little things that they are supposed to be the best thing around about microphone. So if it's not working on, I'm gonna use my cell phone. That maybe will do. Yes? Oh, that's awesome. Well, first of all, great. I think it is Facebook changed some things in the groups and in the pages because the idea it is that they would like to identify fake accounts, things like that. That's why, and probably my Wi-Fi too was not that good today, but we're gonna go with the flow. Okay, great. Today I had the most beautiful, amazing dream with Jesus. I went earlier to record an explanation for what I wanted to do today. I have been channeling the guys for the next course is going to be a little bit different than this one. The next course, I channeled the material and I was not even sure about what I was going to come through. And I honestly, we do have Luna honoring us with her presence. I was trying to practice and to integrate so I would have the complete knowledge when you listen to those videos, the one that decide to be in the second course. Mm, so we all understood what was coming through. The idea about the next course, it is going into the depth about what codes are, how they are engaged within dimensions, perception, soul, spirit, Akashic records. We're gonna learn a little bit how to tap into the Akashic records, how to channel our own guides, whether we do a healing for ourselves or for someone else's. And the first part about the course, it is to practice within the self. And some of the video guys advise you practice doing healing of us for 7 days because sometimes we feel insecure, we're not confident enough. That happens to me often. Or sometimes this material, I'm not going to teach you like in Reiki 1, 2, 3, like the way I did a process. The idea it is that you guys create your own unique process from the knowledge that it has been shared for all of us. And I think the next course that is going to be for the 8/8 opening on Agos is going to be about gifts, like telepathy, bilocation, things like that. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be all about psychic gifts, including channeling. So it will give us the way that I do understand. It feels like this light language course, it was a bit different than the one that Christine and I did last year. Yes, this is like a higher layer about what light codes are and how we can use them for ourselves, but also for others. The way that the material is going to be integrated for each of us, the one who decides to do the second level, is going to depend on the journey that we are, how ready we are, how open we are, and it will come. This material has been channeling, and I'm going to channeling a little bit what Master Jesus said to me about light language because I do believe he used light language and his apostles did, and This is what I will channel and share, but the information has been channeled, so it's new to me too. It's not information that I prepare, that I read, that I searched, that I organized, like the first language course I did last year. It's more channeled, and the way, because it comes in a form of light language, the way that each of you will understand it, it will be very unique. So don't get frustrated if you completely don't understand, because as you listen to those videos over and over, you will have a different understanding and integration and depth on what your soul expects for you, what you are ready for, and then we're going to grow, we're going to be growing all together. Sometimes when I channel something, it's not that I do understand it completely. It's sort of if I am an outsider, and then sometimes I have to listen, but when I re-listen my channelings, I fall asleep. So I have decided not to listen myself again, but just to go with the flow and then integrate whatever that is needed. And that comes through feeling sensation and get feedback from the energy. This is what is coming a lot for the next course, asking ourselves, what do I feel, what I am feeling, this, using the mind in a very constructive way, so the mind comes in to support us, so we go deeper into our own understanding. Like, for example, let's say that you are with someone else, mm, in the street, and then you saw a shadow aspect, and probably the first instinct it will be to shield or clear or go. But what guys are guiding, they say that protection, it was a weakening process, that they believe it was a weakening process because it make us feel insecure, so I need to be protected because I'm not ready to face whatever that it is straightening. So what they're asking us, it is to interact with the energy to see what it is needed, what will manifest that shadow aspect. And then in this case, the practice has been doing it is that go within and then ask, why am I seeing this shadow? What do I need to do to clear that? Do I need to invoke the ballet fire? Do I need to do a code in my imagination? Do I need to send beams of light? Is it because I'm not drinking enough water, or whatever that's coming for you? And 2 days ago, I had a dream. I dream a lot. The ones that know me knows this. In my dream, I saw my twin. In my connection with him, he sort of protects me and guards me, and then I channel on behalf of both. He channels too. He's way, way, way more gifted than me, but we complement each other into whatever it is needed. So in this soul aspect of me, I'm not a fighter, I'm not a warrior, I'm a mediator, right? So I think he takes care of that protection things because I don't protect myself. I If you protect or not, it's upon to your own journey. But I do take my time to not protect it sometimes when something feels threatening. Sometimes I need protection, so I take a break for a while until I am strong enough to know what I need to do. I hope that makes sense. Like, for example, my mom triggers me a lot. She's my doppelganger. We look like twin sisters. We're 30 years apart. Literally, we look like so much in so many aspects, and we are so different. So when sometimes she said something mean to me that will normally drop me off, I used to avoid all contact with her because I could not handle that without being rude or judgmental for that connection. But I have realized that she is another aspect of me. So by me ignoring her or being judgmental or insecure or whatever that I may feel because of our connection, I need to have patience, because having patience with her is having patience with my not readiness to deal with that pattern that we have going on since I was born, right? So it is a practice, and I think that's why I choose to have a triggering connection with my mother. I hope she does never saw this video because putting barriers on our connection, it's putting barriers within myself, not being strong enough, not being patient enough, not being kind enough and tender to know that I don't have to be perfect. I can be mean and I can be peaceful. I can be all different aspects of me, and it's okay because they all complement my own evolution as a soul. And any judgment that I may have on her, it is a judgment that I do on myself too. I hope that makes sense. So this is sort of the protection that they are talking about, that we interact with the energy whenever we are ready, and then feel it, sense, and then ask feedback. And this is where the guys are going to come through. When I feel distorted, low, in imbalance, drain, or whatever, first of all, I need to reboost my energy by resting, grounding, breathing, or whatever that is needed. And sometimes in those moments, you're going to need to set healthy boundaries. Like if you're having an argument with someone, let's say the husband, I will need to say something like, look, I know we need to talk about this, but I need my time to deal with it. So now I need my space. And this is what I do. If I don't feel 100% loving, I take my time, whether that it is my partner, my mom, my kids, a client, or whatever that feels like the news. So I go and find my own alignment. And then when I feel strong enough, I go into the shadow self and then I ask, what did you feel sad, Gretel? What did you feel abandoned or insecure or whatever thing I felt? And then I ask for guidance about how I rectify. I hope that makes sense. So healing with light language can be used at any time for yourself or a client or anything, but it's going to be more like being present with whatever that arises, because I do believe what we feel is what we heal. And then having the capacity to be very brave and courageous enough to deal with things that may feel trigger for us and know how to rectify them so they can be transmute and transform into something that can achieve balance. I hope that makes sense. So in this next level, that if you don't feel that you finished the material yet, you would like to do that, you can take your time and do it in July and December, whatever. But in the next level is going to be about the practice with codes, about how to understand codes, how to understand the dimensions that they're engaged, and how we can use them for a benefit from ourselves or a client or a family or Luna. ¿Verdad, mi amor? Aw. Okay, let me drink a little bit. And that's so good. Coffee grounds me. I was using a coffee that it was like coffee but fake coffee. But no, because I was doing the fasting, I needed coffee because it's the only earthy thing that grounds me and it brings balance into me. So I went back to coffee with almond milk without sugar, and oh, I love it. It's just whenever I feel like the light is too much, it just balances me a little bit. Okay, this is what we're going to work a little bit. I would like to explain it. This is kind of like the oversoul. All these spheres that I did like 5 minutes ago are fragments of the soul that vibrate from higher self, angelic, galactics, ascended soul, light, and shadow. And we are jumping. And we can jump into any aspect from the present moment. And this is when light language comes through. Sometimes we restrict the channel because it feels scary. But for me, light language, when it comes, it feels like overloading water that I need to spill. And then if I restrict it, the energy will increase and increase and increase and increase. And sometimes it's when I move. When I meet clients and it's ready for me to channel because I talk a lot, sometimes I start feeling that thing. And then it's like I saying like, go for it, go for it, go for it, Gretel. And then it's when I say, I think I'm ready to channel. But it starts gradually. Mm, it feels for me like an expansion on my heart. Sometimes I feel like numb. I can move. Sometimes I need to move because it's the way that I do aligned, balance the energy. And this is another thing that we're going to practice. I wrote it backwards. Hope that makes sense. So this is our aura. I'm gonna explain very quickly so you guys understand what I'm going to channel. Because that channeling is going to be a little bit of what is coming in the second level. The aura, it is created from the fusion from the seed of mom and the seed of dad. And that fusion chooses whatever information from the whole oversoul that is needed to bring balance into that family monad. And then in one instant, that soul manifests matter. So it becomes like an egg, like a cell mother, and then it starts dividing into many cells that will be part of our skin, our organs, whatever, whatever. If we decide to be autistic or dyslexic like me, or silly or fun or having the capacity to draw, to do light language, all that it is chosen in the instant that the cell of the mom and the cell of the dad get together in the act of love. At least that is the idea. And then during the 9 months or whatever time that the baby it is inside of the womb, mother it is the chosen one to provide all feedback that that soul it is needed. And then I have seen those souls and sessions come and go outside of the belly. They look like to me always like blue sparks of light, and they are observing the field. Let's say that mother and father fight a lot. So probably the baby is going to say, mommy, it is afraid to death. I'm going to add some codex within me so I come and repair that whenever I have a husband. Let's say that that soul decides to be a girl. Probably that soul is going to say, my daddy is homophobic. I think I should be gay because that would teach both of us what it feels like to have a gay son, let's say, for example. So, whatever mission or purpose we choose, mission is aligned with shadow, and then purpose is aligned with light. Purpose it is my gift to my group, to my monad, to my family, to my friends. Like for example, for me, more than a code keeper, I am a mediator. I connect. This is my gift for all of you. That through that connection, I can draw, I can do, say stupid, funny things. I talk a lot. So all of that, it is the tools that I choose so I could connect between higher self, between galactics, between twins, between whatever that it is needed. I hope that makes sense. So my authenticity, my gifts, it is my purpose and my mission through whatever that is needed that will be activated or deactivated for the growth and evolution of all of us as a collective. But my mission, I think we'll have many purposes and many missions. My mission, it is my shadow aspect that in this life, it was mm, dealing with abuse because I was sexually harassed by my stepfather when I was 13. That's why I have that hate and love connection with mom, that every day it's better than the day before. But it was because I came to decide to heal a pattern that it was very distorted in my lineage. I hope that makes sense. That's why I do that twin flame connections because it's part of my own journey. Having a twin flame, it's me having a decent balanced relationship that comes to heal all the mess that was done in my family monad for eons ago, and myself and other aspects of me throughout time and space. I hope that makes sense. Mm, okay, going back to this. So we have the aura, and then we have an extra layer that is called, you can call this rims, rings, layers, cloaks, levels, whatever feels comfortable for you, it will be fine. Source rim, it is the knowledge of the soul that we have all around. Like, for example, my son is excellent to protect. It's in his lineage because he has been a warrior, a military, a soldier, a fighter in so many of his past lives that he's so drawn to guns and wars and all military things. Even though I hate and I don't teach any of that, it's what makes his soul shine because it is part of the knowledge of his son as an Orion, so that I love him so much. So this is the knowledge that he drawn to. So whenever we are seeing a movie of soldiers, he said, "Mom, that is a lie because actually rifles don't shoot like that. They expand." So he will search and have its own knowledge because it's something that make him glow. In the soul realm, you will have all the knowledge that you need, whether that vibrates in shadow or in light, that will support your own journey. It's extra knowledge that can be activated or deactivated. Like when you have an Akashic Records reading and then they said, "Oh, you were an Arcturian priest in the 25 dimension." And then you said, "Oh, I'm a badass because I was an Arcturian." That was a knowledge that was in your soul, that it was available for you to source it. Or probably you discover that, like for example, I know someone who is 37 and they just found out that that person is autistic. So all his life struggle with disconnection and many things, and people thought it was like dumb or stupid or not smart enough, when in reality it had a limitation that it was not detected until now. So that information will be like a shadow aspect, part of the source realm. It's information from the Akashic records that is all around us. And when you do affirmations that you want to manifest stuff, like I am a money magnet, things like that, all those affirmations and key codes are going to be vibrating in this stream. And then we have the body of light. The body of light, it is where your guides are. Higher self is in all of this, and all. Higher self is all versions of you, all different timelines, all past, present, future. But the guides will be in the body of light. The body of light, it is the pure aspect of you, your spirit, your divinity. Your guardian angel will be there, your angelic with your connection with angelics, whether that it is Holy Spirit, ascended masters, galactics that are very angelic sometimes, or angels, or anything that it is vibrating in that source light, it will be in the body of light. And then we have the soul's realm. The soul stream, it is where your aura ends, that you meet anyone else. For example, the connections with husband, it will begin in the soul realm. Family minute, friends, city, government regulations, insurance, the economy record, whatever. If you have any entity attack, it will be in the soul realm. Um, yes. In the soul realm, it is where the shadow and the light commingle together in fusion, into one sort of personality belief that can uplift you or drag you down. It will be coded to many timelines, to many places, to many feelings and sensations, including memories that will source information for the self. And codes can be added in any realm that is needed. We don't need to know this at all levels. It's just a part of what will give us the understanding about how the light engages and commingles at all levels and dimensions. And then we have two more layers. The ones who are awake, they activate two more layers that are plasmic light, light from the central sun and plasmic light, and light from the center of the universe. And then we have spheres of knowledge. The spheres of knowledge that some people call them arcs, um, bubbles of information. They are different segments within the matrix where we can source the Akashic records for any dimension, any place. And those are divided on a timeline. It is a perception, basically. A dimension, it is the parameter of the speed, how the information is integrated from the matrix. So first dimension, it is the self. It is when I separate from source, and when source asks who I am and who are you and who I can become. So it is a mind, it is the idea, it is a thought, it is a very masculine energy dimension. And then second dimension, it is duality. It is the separation between man and female, shadow and light, yin and yang, negative and positive. It is when I notice I have two polarities within, that I can be loving and fearful at the same time, or patient and impatient, all those things. That one frequency can have balance or can have distortion, harmony or disharmony. And then third dimension, it will be this described as a shadow tool because it has the anchor of time. Anchor, it is the predominant energy in one timeline or dimension. Like for example, in the year of 9/11, all of us as a humanity, we will remember what happened in the World Trade Center. That it is the predominant anchor for all of us as humanity, whether that I was born in Afghanistan, in the US, or in Mexico. Mm, if I remember my 4 years old, the predominant energy, my anchor is going to be the separation from mom and dad. If I go back into 1999, the anchor for me is going to be that I moved to Venezuela, from Mexico to Venezuela to meet my father. So the most predominant or important event is going to name a period of time. This is how third dimension, don't get fixated on this. You can watch this video over and over and then understand it in your own unique way. Time works organizing periods of experience with one name. Let's say that when someone asks you what happened to you when you were 25, oh, I lost that person. That person died, so that is what I will remember. When I was married with my ex, that it was 11 days, that was a period of time in my life. When I separate, I shift. So normally we shift in every second, but we don't notice because they are also similar, that they have continuation in time. They are snapshots that all together create like a movie scene. I hope that makes sense. But we notice when we shift, when the difference between snapshots of your life are so different from one to another that we're able to notice a shift. And that being aware of that shift creates a struggle because sometimes we panic a little bit. Like, for example, when you move from another country, when you are firing a job, when you got a new job, if you are gonna do something new because we don't have reference in our database, sometimes that make us freak out. Like, for example, for some people could be, I don't know how to do light language, so that could be a trigger. But all that, it is organized through time, and the manager of the time, it is the mind. The mind gets feedback from the emotions, and then the emotions said, I hated that person when I was 22 because always says mean things to me. So the mind is going to level that period of time mean person. Don't get in contact with mean persons because it makes you feel drained. So the mind is sort of like a fatherly protector of your experience. But without mind, or ego would not be able to be here because the ego is what makes us who we are. It's our authenticity, our desires, our weakness, our strengths, our authenticity all together. So it's not a bad thing. I think those um, fearful perceptions of ego are outdated versions about spirituality, but you guys go with your own flow. Fourth dimension, the way that you understand it is when we have an eye opening about it could be more. I could trick 1 2 3, and then I can have free will to decide what I want to be. So it's sort of like a airport, like a train station, like a jumping portal for us to source information from those spheres of knowledge throughout the matrix. And then in 5 dimension, it is when we are able to vibrate in love constantly. And then, for example, we have 7 dimension that for me it is I'm not me anymore, I am we. And then I can source information from what being an angel will be, or what being a galactic will be. If I'm doing a session and I decided to work with Acturians, and they said that I call my sessions Acturian Rainbow Healing Codes and Light, then every time I would do a session, I'm going to connect my aura with the galactic arc of knowledge, the Akashic records of Arcturians, and then I'm going to source codes so I get the information that is needed for me in the now. Information, it doesn't come when you channel, it doesn't come in Arcturian form. It transforms into what you can understand and perceive. Like, for example, aliens doesn't look at all the way we see them. It is a version they create for us to understand them, but they look like completely different. They look like in a way that we don't have any tool to understand. So it cannot be understood. Like, for example, if I, if I'm, my brother, he is a computer programmer. If I see what he's doing because I don't understand, I'm gonna be clueless. So whenever he explains to me something about a program, computer program he's working on, he has to translate it in a way that I do, that it makes sense for me. Or whenever you talk with doctors, sometimes we are like, doctor, can you please explain in a way that I can understand? So this is sort of what happened with light language. It will come in a form that you will understand through your feeling and sensations. And then the mind is going to interact, organizing as healing, activation, DNA expansion, clearing your ancestors, through Archangel Michael, through the Brotherhood of the Light, or whatever. That's why it's important to keep asking feedback to you guys and confirmation about the information that you are sourcing. And then the light also divides on masculine, feminine, both or none, shadow and light, and many things. that we are going to access whenever it is needed. Sometimes someone asked me things and I said, I don't know how I know this, but I think is this is the answer. This is when you access some source of knowledge from your, and this is what happened when we do codes. This is me, and this is each of you, and then this is the information that's coming through, and then we become this. What means it is that we change forever and ever and ever and ever. I hope that makes sense. There is no need to understand this information. You can come and rewatch the video. It's Saturday. I wanted to channel Jesus, but I think it will be too long to do it. Let me see if I have. Do I have any question about this, guys? Let me see if I can. That you guys wanted me to further explain, or do you want me to channel still? I think I'm going to do the channeling of Jesus in another moment so I don't make it that long. Mm, thank you. But I can explain a little bit what he was showing to me. It was shown to me that he was speaking in light language, and it was a way about he was always awakened as a little child because he could access information from the matrix and understand them completely, and at the same time see through people. Like when we see those memes about don't lie to me because I'm an empath, I will know if you're lying to me. It was kind of like the gift that he had. He could see the codification of all of us and therefore understand what was needed to rectify. So his aura, it was that huge that he would be instantly clearing and balancing all around him. And then I saw that he came in many times as Krishna, as Buddha, and as many others, and in many different versions of him throughout the history of humanity. Like, for example, I saw that in one time after medieval times. I don't know if you guys remember, but Catholic Church start burning people, and then the Protestant became, but at the same time, sometimes the way that religion it is organized, even though it has a truthful intention or benevolent intention at the beginning, sometimes it gets distorted. So I saw that in one timeline on Earth that is not how our history describe it. He was born as a saint, and then through the awakening of light language, because he represents the Holy Spirit, that it is the gifts of source. People align itself to enroll in an ascension timeline. All the world unifies, starting from Europe instead of being a Jew. And then in another timeline, I saw that he was born as a Jew after World War II, after all that killing, and then people align itself in an ascension process. So don't you think this is the only timeline where people ascend? People has been ascend, and the history is not settled in stone. It changes and varies according to whatever it is needed in that timeline. In fact, we have the history from books, but we don't know if whoever wrote those books about independence and all the history lie about it. So we don't know exactly what happened. It all can change according to whatever is needed. And then I saw that in another timeline after 9/11 in New York, um, Jesus came in a form of, it's not this timeline, of course, it was another one. But what I was able to perceive, I hope I can understand it, it was the feeling of New York about what happened. It was a sense of helping each other, and they completely were able to drop all judgment and critique about Latino and Asian and black and white and legal and non legal and poor and rich and Jew or Catholic or spiritual. And they became the example about really being a brother and sister through compassion and kindness by integrating their emotions and the grief and the sorrow about all that what happened. And then US become like a guiding light and the center for spirituality, and then all other states and city start alignment into the society system that New York incorporated. And that timeline, what I saw, it was as if New York independent, how do I say that in English? Separate itself from the rest of US. I hope that makes sense. Kind of like what Texas did it from Mexico. Um, I think a few years ago. I don't know if you guys know, but Texas was from Mexico, but they said, you know what, we don't want to be part of Mexico, we want to be part of US. So they request their independence. And lots of things happening there. But in this time, after 9/11, New Yorkers decide to separate themselves from US and create their own system so they could start rebuilding New York. But that system, it was so successful because they were able to drop the federal connections, and they create a new health system support the survivors from the terrorist attack, and all those things that the rest of US decided to incorporate the same system, and then other countries feel like envy and then they all decide to unify after what happened in September 9/11. I mean, so what I was shown to me, it is that life don't have just one way, has many ways. In fact, always work out on the demand plan, even though we have no idea about other realities that happen. And sometimes it's not helpful because it can be confusing for us to know. And then I don't know if you guys have searched about Jesus, but Jesus, some people said it was an Arcturian, it was from Sirius, it was from Pleiades. Some people said that it was an Anunnaki, that it was called, that it came from Naldak and Marduk, and it was a dark entity. So what I was shown in my dream, it's all true. It's all true, but it depends on the timeline that you are placing your attention with. And this is what it is. How you can source information. And I'm gonna talk about, like, for example, vaccines. Some people is going to choose to get vaccinated. Some people choose not to get vaccinated. And I'm gonna say if that is right or wrong, because I have many people that is asking me about this. But vaccines has a reason to be here this time in this timeline, like 9/11, like World War II, and many things that happened on our history of Earth. We don't know yet what the benefit will be because those reasons are unseen. I'm not saying that you should vaccinate or not. In fact, I don't want to get vaccinated, but at some point, I think I may will vaccinate it because what my guys were saying to me, it's be ready because I may choose to do it. It's not something that I think it will fix anything. I'm not even scared about COVID. And if I get it, so be it. But probably it's something that my soul will have to have for a greater purpose that I don't know what it is. I don't even feel triggered. I don't care about what people says about sin. It's just not part of what I will worry about. But whatever will happen on my timeline, I'm working on my body, I'm working with my kids, trying to be more healthier, trying to do exercise, things, whatever. So whatever happened, whatever the collective decides, I'm not affected. I hope that makes sense. Yes, it's about choice, but the choice is not about what I do, it's about how I do it and the hidden intentions about it. It's not about vaccinate yourself or not get vaccinated. It's about how you embrace it and how you decide to go for it. Because if I have to die because of something or have a sickness or something to darkness because it is what my souls would like to experience and maybe it will serve for all of you, so be it. It is about seeing the bigger perspective. I hope that makes sense. mm, Many things. Okay, okay, I'm not gonna talk about the future because I don't want to see events in your own timeline. But what I would like to say it is choose where you choose information from. Because in these spheres of knowledge, it is the ones who are channeling information from the dark alien agenda, reptilians, dragons, cabal, Illuminati, whatever, whatever. But you choose to accept that as your reality or not. Because I know there are many people channeling things about these things. And if that it is a reality that has been created in the matrix, it is because it's going to bring something beneficial for source for all of us as a group, but it does not mean that it has to be your reality or my reality. So this knowledge about codes is not only to do sessions or to speak in a funny way. It is about understanding how the light express engages through harmony and disharmony so we can rectify. And what the guy said in the channelings, it was train your aura so your aura knows to identify distortion that can be instantly rectified in the moment. Not because I'm in the mall and I notice an entity, I'm gonna wait until I can go home and meditate and use sage and crystals all over myself. Probably in that instant, through my intention and through my awareness, I can tune in and clear that from my field and tune into whatever that it is my feedback so I use the power of choice to choose whatever I would like to experience in my own universe and my own matrix. Because we are creators of our own universe. And every client you manifest is going to be a reflection of you. Every family person in your family or not is going to be a reflection of you. In fact, sometimes we're going to be shocked about the dark feelings we can have, like out of the blue. Sometimes we can feel envy, like, oh, I want to have that, or I want to do that, and I don't have it. How is that possible that that person is doing that and I can, like, and it may come for seconds, and it is, and it's not, well, not good, but it's not a bad thing either. It's just something that comes out of the blue so it can be transmuted. And then we can exercise our power of choice to decide what we would like to do, what we would like to be. Whoever decides to be in the darkness, it's a respectable choice. It's not that I would like to do, but I should respect everyone else's path. And at the same time, I think shadow is not something to be afraid of, but it's an area of opportunity for me to grow and evolve and to notice the path that I would like to be. Like, for example, the more higher you ascend, the more knowledgeable you are, the more clearer the shadow is gonna be. But it is because it's a good thing. It is because we have more clear guidance about where to go and where not to go according to our free will and our power of choice. Mm, Higher beings could go into the shadow too, but they choose not to because it's sort of like a stupid thing to do, like pointless thing to do, from what I understand. It is like I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat my cell phone. No, because I know that my cell phone is not food and it's not going to fill my belly. So I'm not gonna even try to because it will be stupid. I'm gonna go and look for food. I hope that makes sense. So being able to see entities and shadow aspects is not to be afraid of or ignore. I want to see the cell phone because it's not food and I'm hungry. It's not about that. It's about seeing, no, it's not food, whatever. I just can put it away and then I will look for food. It's just to have more resources to exercise our power of choice. And I think with that, I'm gonna close with a few minutes of Master Jesus, and then see you guys on the solstice. I am going to channel Mary Magdalene. And then whoever would like to be in the next level of light language, I'm gonna send the material. I think the 21. It's a little bit different about the first course. It's more about what I spoke today, but channel it. The new people that I have, I'm gonna add it in the same group so you guys keep growing with me. I mean, we all keep growing together. Let's begin. The first step to do light language, it is to connect yourself, and for me, it feels more comfortable when I close my eyes and then I tune into my own feelings and sensations. So the first step, it will be always connected and having the knowledge in the awareness. The second step, it will be to anchor that feeling through allowing yourself to be okay with whatever that arises. The next step, it will be to set your intention. The next step, it will be to open to whatever that it is needed to come true in the highest good and in the best way for all of us together. And I always ask my higher self to be in charge. If you are still not able to, you can separate the aspect of you that feels afraid to go for it and biolocate it and put it in a healing chamber as you will ground your child. Namaite, te isa te ki ishta, te irasa okote iki ishka. Nima netisa te de ashka te ise te iki ishka. Greens and blessings, my dearest brothers and sisters. All was said. It was needed to be said today. And now we're going to channel as Christ consciousness, the energetic aspect of it. Ti ishka, ti mase, ti iki ne ete iki ishka. I am always connected with the light. Ti ishta, te va, te sate ara, ete iki ishta, sete iki ishka. I am the light. Te ita, te isape, te ishta, te isete iki ishka. I am the light of the world, and all that I see benefits from the light that I ignite. Ti ishna, ti sa, te ira ate ishka. Ti va se, via va, ti dara ase te iki ishka. All that I am, all that I see, all that I will be, it is the light that I am. Ni iti isa, te ishta, te isaku, te iki ishka, te isa. Nina nenate kamasete eki ishka. Do you have faith? Tita temasete base minti ashka mate iki ikiya. If you do, tune into your faith. If you feel that faith it is weak today, tune into what requires for that faith to be strong today. Titi esta tititera ase te eki ishka te esaku te eki ishka. To download what is needed from source. So you know what having faith feels like. So you teach yourself to be faithful. So you know that it's easy to have faith. Ti ishta titirasa te kiaraku te esa te eki ishta. Ki na nema te esa viava te avara a te eki ishka. And faith, it is what we believe it is needed for you to see that all is well, that always has been well, and that always will be well. Tima te tasete eki ashta, ti esete eki ishka, ti ira ate esete eki ishka. And faith is going to come in a blue flame in your third eye. So you're able to see with the eyes of Source, with the eyes of the Father. And as you visualize this blue flame in form of the Holy Spirit, you're going to receive codes of sacredness, holiness, that will purify all what is needed in this moment through faith, through a light, through a love of the I am, that I am. And now allow the flame of your forehead, the blue holiness of you, to grow and expand and bathe all aspects of you, from head to toe, creating a Merkaba of light, a sacred geometry, a technology through your chakras and meridians, and your intentions through faith, through love and light, and the power of the I am, all the I am, being one with the light. Ti ishka tida sete kiyama te sabai ki te ivaha ki kia te kishka. Havivia te shapa sete iki ishta oku ite iki ikiya. And as you tune into the light, see the darkness all around, and bathe and see the light in the darkness, being able to become one with all that it is, having the kindness, patience, and faith enough to hold the darkness with light, tenderness, gentleness, for your own processes and opportunities of growth. Because this is what darkness it is, an area of opportunity to seek light and find a new alignment in the eyes of the Father and all that it is, the Ishta Teva Sete Eki Ishtara Eki Iki Kiya. And if you see darkness in others as a reflection of your own light, and your own collective, you can send light, having the faith that everyone else and everything else will make the choice, the best choice for all of you together as one, according to the intentions of the Father and Divine Mother and all that it is. Because only through an order It is the king and queen of the experience. Te ishta, te isa, te ida, te iki ishtara, ase, te iki ishna. Nothing happened ever without the approval of the father and the mother. It's all chosen by the will of the light and the evolution of the light, and the growth of the light and the creation of the light. And as the king and queen of all that it is, within and without, throughout time and space, anchor the light quietly and strongly within you, knowing that all you need was already given in the highest way and in the best way, with ease and grace and no effort. Knowing that as you breathe, anchor yourself in the light through gratitude, through faith, through knowing that all is well. Ti ishka baset ki ishtara sete ki ishka. And notice the subtle changes in the waves of your light. And all those realms and levels of consciousness when you can source information throughout time and space. All those intentions and desires, all those feelings that are seeking for a new alignment within and around. Connections that vibrate in the language of the light, the love, true loyalty to one to another, the support, because being born here was the most courageous honor that each of you could choose at this time in your own soul evolution. For the majority of you, being born here at this time, it was an honor. It was a sensation of I was chosen for that experience. So embrace all that it is, all that has happened, and all that will, because that is the legacy of your soul, the gift of humanity that you give by being you, by embracing all in you, your shadow, your light, having faith in all that you are, have been, and will be. And with that, with the Christ consciousness, Mother, Father, God, the Holy Spirit, your own guides and teams for support, bless you, good with you, love you. Titi ishta, ti isa te iki ishka te isama. Nina haveve iti iki ishka. Love you, haveve iti ishka. Mina ti se te iki ishka. Sending blessings. That was so good. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's take a couple seconds to ground. That's so good. ¿Qué pasó, Luna? I think she's trying to figure out what was happened. Thank you so much for being here, and see you guys in the solstice with Mary McMonaghan. Bye bye.